everyone. Welcome to our session. My name is Kendall Perez. I am on the member success team, and I have Wynn here, who's on the marketing team, and Eteri, who is on the project team. And we are going to talk about how to FINOS. So I'm going to start with the member success section. I like to start off with our members slide. I was going to ask a raise of hand of who has their member company up here, but I do recognize a few faces out here, so I'm going to say yes. So I'm glad to have you all here. So what is member success? Member success helps organizations increase their engagement with open source and take advantage of all the member benefits. I'm here to get you connected into the community and make sure you're taking full advantage of your membership. So member benefits, what are they? Well, they're exactly what they sound. They are a range of member-only benefits designed to accelerate the value members achieve through open source collaboration. So I like to think of member involvement as a game of life. So the first step in my mind is to start at the project landscape. So I do have a QR code up here if you're interested in looking at that right now. I also suggest signing up for the newsletter, because with the newsletter you get weekly emails telling you what's happening that week or coming up in that month, and so you don't miss any of the important project meetings or updates that you are interested in. After that, after you find a project that you are interested in, suggestion is to sign up for a project mailing list or the SIG mailing list, and then also check out the calendar and participate in one of the meetings. Eteri will talk a little bit later how to get fully involved with the project, but just getting started, that's the best way to get started, is just go ahead and get plugged in. Another good, easy way to get involved is attending OSFF or a community meetup. Well, you're here, so you definitely did that. Another thing is we are happy to come and speak at your internal events. We want to help either your colleagues or your customers also get involved in the community. So if you need help with that, we are more than happy to email us, and we will find the perfect team member to come and give a presentation. And then lastly, on the easy steps, which maybe it's on the little more advanced side, but contribute code or documentation to the project. If you need help with signing the CLA, we're also happy to help with that and any other questions that you have. So moving on to more of the more advanced, well, like what I like to call the more advanced steps, is we have tons of FINOS-specific training. So with Elevate Education, if you are a gold or platinum member, you have 50 seats that you can take advantage of some of these trainings at no cost. We also do have some trainings that are free without needing a membership, so definitely recommend taking a look at that. And then along with that, we also have certifications too. That's also more an advanced step. Another thing, we're always interested in folks hosting a webinar or writing a thought leadership piece for our blog. And then moving on to, again, more advanced stuff is participating in a FINOS-hosted hackathon. We've had tons of hackathons, especially this year with DTCC and BMO. And, or if your organization is interested in hosting a hackathon, we are always interested to hear your ideas, and we're happy to help. Moving on to is becoming a project maintainer. We always want members to get more involved, especially in leadership positions. We also have spots on the talk and the board that are member only, that are elected by their membership class. Once you've really dived in, we definitely want you to come and share your knowledge by speaking at OSFF or giving a thought leadership piece, like I mentioned before, in the webinar or blog. And lastly, I want to mention case studies. We are always looking for folks to come in and work with case studies and write about how your organization is implementing a FINOS project. So no matter which engagement level you are, we are here to help and make the most of your membership. I also have the QR codes for signing up for the newsletter if you aren't already signed up, and then also to take a look at the FINOS project landscape so you can get started. Again, I'm here to help, so just send me an email. I'm happy to set up a meeting or help you with anything that you need. So now I'm going to pass it to Wynn, who's going to talk about marketing.
Thanks, Kendall. Yeah, I'm Win Morgan. I'm on the marketing team at FINOS. And today I'm going to focus on some member marketing and project marketing. So I'd like to start with just a way of looking at how FINOS members can interact with marketing. And in my mind, there's kind of two main areas. You have your thought leadership and events. And on the thought leadership side, as Kendall said, blogs are a great way to do things. We also have a podcast that our head of marketing hosts. There's the ability for us to do video shorts with a member. And then there's kind of this intersection between thought leadership and events, which are these webinars. We run the open source and finance webinar series with members, and it's a great place to get some of your ideas on open source out in front of the FINOS membership. And then just looking at the events themselves, in my mind, they break up into 4 different kind of main things. So we have our FINOS events like OSFF or an all-community call. Then we also have these supported by FINOS events. So maybe you need FINOS to assist with registration, but they're going to be hosted and more run by you as a member. And I'll show a couple examples of those in another slide. And then we also have community events. So if you are putting together an event and it's of interest to the FINOS membership or touches on open source, we'd love to advertise it. And then at the end, Eteri will give you some more information on ambassador events. So here I'm just showing some of the recent hackathons, and the 2 that I've chosen here are both supported by FINOS events. So we did host registration, and for the City India hackathon, I think it was over 500 people registered. And then at the end, put together a nice winners announcement congratulating everyone, and pretty similar on the Innovate DTCC hackathon. We ran the registration, and Carl and Luca helped put together some teams, and then had a nice wrap-up blog post. So these are just some examples of ways that you can get involved with supported by FINOS events. And then here we're looking at closer at FINOS events. So we have this open source and finance masterclass that Regnosis ran recently, and it was our most highly attended kind of webinar that a member put on. I think we had over maybe 150 people live join the webinar, and it was a great chance for Regnosis to really share their thought leadership and dive deeper into a project as a masterclass. And then we've got an example of a webinar that we put together. You can see Sonotype and NVIDIA coming together and really showing a collaborative spirit. And then lastly, there's the all-community call. We love to have the FINOS team speak at those, but the best part of it is hearing from the members on the projects that they're working on. So if you're involved in a project, we'd love to get you on the all-community call. And here, I'm going to take a little closer look in at the projects that we have. And there's kind of 2 main categories. So you have your incubating projects, which are the majority of the projects, and then your active projects. As an active project, you're going to get more marketing support. But for the incubating projects, we'd love to have your marketing requests, and we'll definitely consider them on a case-by-case basis. And then here, I kind of wanted to show you what a project might need some marketing help with. So if they're launching a new working group, the easiest is obvious, some social media amplification, inclusion in our weekly newsletter, This Week at FINOS. But we'd also love to partner with you on producing a blog post with a nice, clear CTA where here's where you can join the meetings that are regularly on the calendar. And then looking a little bit further, you have just increasing contributions. And then kind of on top of the other options, events are a great way to get the community rallied around making contributions. And then for Milestone, I'm actually going to take a closer look at this on another slide. But a blog post series is a great way to dive deeper into the features of maybe a significant release. And again, the podcast would be another avenue that a project could take. And definitely video shorts on different aspects of what the project is doing. And then as we move all the way to the other end, we have our more mature projects, which are either active or very, very close to becoming active. And at that point, maybe there's room for a press release. The masterclass is a great option for a more mature project. And you'll see the CDM one from a few slides ago was such a masterclass. And then finally, a case study. I'm going to take a closer look at that shortly. This is all about CDM, this slide, and the campaign creation. You can kind of see the CDM 6.0. That would be when CDM 6.0 first happened. They did a great wrap-up of what it meant as a whole. And then from there, we dived deeper into specific aspects in a New Horizons piece. And these are not all of the blog posts that came out in this piece, but you can tell it's several different members. And then actually finally today, Jane, who's in the audience, wrote us a blog post, and CDM became an active project. So it's it's definitely something you can take advantage of, getting the thought leadership out in front of the community and then becoming active. And then I just wanted to highlight the case studies that we do have. So you can find all of these case studies at finos.org/case studies. And there's 6 of them currently, and we just had a new one come out today, which is the hidden risks of not contributing. That's the one on the top left. And I would definitely suggest that you take a look at these. And I just wanted to close with be proactive if you're a project. You have your own mailing list, and you can reach out to community members that way. You also have the community@finos.org mailing list, which is somewhere in the region of 4,000 contacts, so it's a pretty hefty mailing list, and we suggest to our maintainers that they use it if there's something important to announce to the community. And there's also the community Slack. And then if you have any questions about any of this, please reach out to us at marketing@finos.org and help@finos.org. And then, as Kendall was saying, please subscribe to the newsletter if you haven't already. And then I have one final closing slide. So we are all here at the conference. You have Olivia in the top left, Carl in the top right, Grizz, the head of marketing, bottom left, and me. And please stop us and ask us questions. And again, if you can't find us while you're here, marketing@finos.org and help@finos.org are 2 great ways to reach out to us. Thanks. I'm going to hand it over to Eteri.
Thank you, Wynn. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about community engagement and how to get started with a FINOS project and the ambassador program. So getting started with the FINOS project, like Kendall mentioned, the project landscape is a really great resource for this. It has a layout of our full project landscape. And through this, you can find some helpful links like the GitHub repositories and the websites for each individual project. The main one that I've listed here is CDM. It's a great representation of how a lot of the projects are laid out. So from the project landscape, you can go to the landing page where you can find past recordings of events for a specific project, as well as demos, some PDFs outlining other information. And then there's also the microsite that each project has. So cdm.finos.org, finos.org, ftc3.finos.org is another example. And here you can find more technical documentation. And then once you learn more about the project and you're interested in taking the next step, you can join working groups. For example, the CDM has 7 working groups, and that's the standard for a lot of the projects. And for that, we have the FINOS community calendar. This is where all of the calls for the projects are hosted. It's public, it's available to anybody. You don't have to be a member. So you can use that, you can go in, the Zoom details are listed there, and join a call. You can sit in on the call and listen in, or if you have a specific question, the maintainers are on there. So you can discuss your questions with them. We also have training courses as well. That's another great resource for getting started with the project, specifically FTC3, CDM, open source readiness, and I'll include links at the end for all of these. And like Wynn mentioned, we have mailing lists for each of our projects. This is where the maintainers will often send updates on agendas and other things that are happening with the project. And then we also have Slack channels as well. And then the last resource is the GitHub repository. So all of our projects are on GitHub, and here you can find the meeting agendas, any issues that are opened up for the project, so what the maintainers are currently working on, the community is currently working on, as well as pull requests, so changes that are being made to the project. So if you have a question, a lot of the projects will encourage you to open an issue and maybe attend a call and discuss it there, or just discuss it in issues with the project maintainers. So that is everything on the community engagement side. And then I wanted to quickly review the FINOS Ambassador Program, which is a program that we started last year to recognize our more active ambassadors. So they work to evangelize FINOS projects, create technical content, mentor contributors, and host local events. So some of the activities that are highlighted here is like the OS in Finance meetup, which our turntable ambassadors put together. Our ambassador, Cal, is working on an introduction to FINOS at Evolution at Scale event coming up in Montreal in October, as well as some of the blog posts and the podcasts that our ambassadors have worked on. We have 7 ambassadors here today, and they can be identified by an ambassador badge and some sweatshirts. So if you have any questions about this, if you're maybe interested in diving deeper into FINOS projects and then maybe becoming an ambassador to discuss the projects more and spread the word about FINOS, please apply and become an ambassador. You get access to speaking spots at OSFF. You get Credly badge as well, and some exclusive swag. And these are our current ambassadors. We have 18 in total. We have 1 in the crowd today, and then the rest are scattered around the conference. And with that, I wanted to just highlight some of the QR codes that I mentioned. So the training courses, how to get involved, the community calendar, the project landscape, and GitHub. And if you have any questions, like Kendall and Wynn mentioned, you can reach out to Member Success. Help@finos.org is also a great resource, info@finos.org. We're happy to answer any of your questions or come to us directly. Thank you.
So that actually is the end, but we have some time for Q&A if there are any questions. Yeah, so there are a couple free trainings that are available, but there are, I will say it's the FDC3 intro course is free, and so is the getting started with open source. Is that right? Yep. CDM. And the CDM ones are free. And then the more advanced FDC3 and certification are paid, but if you are a gold or platinum member, then you probably have some extra seats that you can take advantage of. And if you don't know internally who you need to talk to get one of those seats, reach out to Member Success at finos.org, and we're happy to figure out who you need to contact. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. Like we said, we're happy to help. Thank you so much.